Hello, it's Johnny Lichka on the 16th of January with a follow-up note to the concept of the illusion of a global community. Now, why I say there is no such thing as a global community is due to what I consider a major disqualification. Like, what we have is no more than an illusion. It cannot be considered a genuine global community because of this simple disqualification. The nations do not demonstrate respect for one another. In fact, they demonstrate more of the opposite. It's as if you were on a sports team and say I was on a sports team and I saw two members that were constantly fighting, constantly sabotaging one another and disrupting the team's work, disrupting the teamwork by constantly fighting and arguing and openly talking shit about one another. Well, I would refuse to be a part of that team. It's intolerable. And such is the same thing for this international globalism. I see very little demonstration of respect for one another. And I can tell you, when you consider, for example, the North American trifecta of Canada, United States, Mexico, when you consider those nations, you're not seeing a team of allies. Rather, you see three neighbors that have a difficult time getting along. And it's quite bizarre. You see, you have a lot of, or many communities of people from Mexico and other nations as well. I've encountered Somalian communities, Asian communities, such as the Hmong, and I've noted before that they all like to separate. They all like to isolate, which is fine. I think that's all right, were it not for a certain condition that is not met, and there I see is lack of the demonstration of respect. In fact, what I see is the opposite. In these communities that self-isolate, there is a tremendous amount of anti-white rhetoric. They have absolutely the lowest regard for Americans, for this concept of America, which I know is dubious in of itself. But say here, they come to Wisconsin, they come to Minnesota. They don't even have a baseline respect for what is and what might be Wisconsin, what might be Minnesota. And of course, those concepts are corrupt, which is part of the problem, I do admit. But so is the same goes for each of the other nations. They don't actually have a genuine or an authentic sense of ethnicity that is grounded, say, in the Sophianic perspective, but no, at least, a non-archontic sense of what it is to be American. There instead is an archontic sense, it is an archontified sense, this idea of what it means to be American. Likewise, there is an archontified idea of what it means to be Mexican. There's an archontified idea about the nation of Mexico. And the same for any other nation. South Africa, Nigeria, Germany, England. These nations are all corrupted with a narcotic belief system. Yeah? But even still, when you're considering two nations that are so archontically corrupt, such as America and Mexico, you'd think that there'd at least be some tolerance between them. Gee, I actually hate that term tolerance, because it's not a tolerable situation. But in any case, since they're both fucked up, why can't they just let themselves be? Why can't they just let themselves be the shithole people that they are? Like, let the Americans be, I don't even know. Like, see, it doesn't come to me. What's wrong with Americans? What's wrong with Mexicans? Nothing too different from one another in terms of their delusions. And anyway, I'm not so much a proponent myself of this idea of a global community. I don't think it's something that we need. In fact, in a lot of ways, it's a major distraction. Our involvement and the way they're able to direct, say, the attention of the Americans. There was a time when their attention would constantly be directed to North Korea. That's directing the force here that is capable of dealing with the problems that are here in America, yet their attention is directed to a foreign land. You can't utilize your physical capacity to deal with the problems that are here if your attention's being directed so far elsewhere. In any case, I think that I have confidence that what is to come of the nations and what is to come of the countries and ethnic identities does not have to resemble a global community, the fantasy of a global community that we have today. It doesn't need that. But I feel like it can be better with isolated communities that define boundaries and say, all right, such as you have with the Genshin Initiative, the complete exclusion of the Xenos from the Gentile affairs, whatever those are. So you have two isolated communities, and once that starts coming into definition, once the communities of the world start asserting their sovereignty, once they begin to assert their sovereignty, then you can start talking and walking about a worldwide world. It's a big world, and you're a free animal. That's all I have to say for now. Thank you.